Welcome to the Tig and Roo Show. I am Tig. This is a very special episode. All episodes are special episodes, but this one is particularly special because I'm flying solo today, but I have a very special guest. It is Midge.
Yeah, I'm back.
She is back.
For like the third time?
Yeah, third time.
Third.
Yeah, third time. Way to go. Today we are talking about, you guessed it, how to make a souffle. Now, today we're actually talking about cosplay. Now, I don't know a lot about cosplay. I know some things about it, but it seems to be rooted in the very simple idea of just dressing up. But it's more than just dressing up, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Halloween. It's not like you're just going to throw something on and pretend to be somebody. It's a lot more detailed than that. So that's what we're talking about today. My understanding of cosplay, Midge, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you are dressing up as the character you want to be as much as possible. Like everything is going to be accurate, detailed, as real as possible, almost as if you can be that character on screen.
Yes.
Okay. So what else kind of goes into it, do you know?
Well, you also sort of have to be the character as accurately too.
Okay.
Because cosplay is not only about the looks, it's about just the character in general, so you have to be almost everything about them. Understand? You get me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I do. So as performers, it's basically doing what we do, except you're not on stage and you're not on screen.
Yes.
So you're trying to embody the character in every way possible, from mannerisms to hairstyle to how the costume looks.
Yes.
Okay, so that makes sense. Now, I think it's drastically different than if you were to go to a convention. You see people dressed up because they're there just to dress up, and there's people who actually really go far and beyond. Like in my memory, I think I've only been to two like comic book conventions, and I've been to one Star Trek convention, and that was way back in '97. And normally when you see videos of like Comic-Con, like a San Diego, the Comic-Con, you see people dressed up as Klingons, and it looks absolutely real. It looks like it's actually coming from the show, and coming from somebody who actually wore the Klingon costumes, the Starfleet uniforms from the show. They're pretty accurate, and they're even probably, I would say, more accurate than what is on the show because they put more stuff into it as if it's real stuff, and they can really speak Klingon and things like that. So I think that's really interesting. I'm not into cosplay, but you're into cosplay.
Yes.
So what kind of characters do you like dressing up as?
Well, I don't really have anything to actually do full-on cosplay, but I do have enough clothes to do closet cosplay.
Okay, what's the difference?
Closet cosplay is you work with what you have to be the character.
Okay.
Like for me, for my Elsa, I use the blue dress that I have instead of actually like making the dress that she wears for Let It Go.
Okay. So it's almost like taking a blue blouse, a white apron, curling your hair, or if you're blonde, you take a brown wig and you curl your hair and your belt from Beauty and the Beast. Just whatever you got.
Yes.
Okay. Then I am closet cosplaying. I am Batman. Mm-hmm. These are actually Batman onesie pajamas. I got a cape. Oh, and I have a mask. It's not a Batman mask. It's actually a Robin mask. I can't find it. But I have a black hat just because I want something on my head. And I've got Batman socks. Do Batman.
Gotta show this camera too.
Ow, hamstring. Oh, I'm old. Woo. So I'm closet cosplaying. Mm-hmm. Look at me go.
Other characters I like to dress up as. So there's Elsa and Daenerys Targaryen, and I'm trying to work on a character named Haru from Beastars. She's a bunny. It's hard to explain. And I'm also working on Starfire from Teen Titans.
Ooh.
Probably like a modernized version of her. And also Kim Possible.
I've been looking at some photos, some cosplay photos, and some really good ones out there.
And Sabrina from the Netflix series.
I've seen a really good Rogue, comic book Rogue from X-Men. I've seen a really good one of that. I've seen a really good, what else? What else I saw? A Raven from Teen Titans. I saw a really good one of that. It was really, really good.
I really want a purple wig.
But it was the comic book version. So, you know, Raven's costume is pretty simple. But, you know, even simple costumes are not really all that impressive because sometimes there's too simple. But I think those who do cosplay will agree that even a simple costume takes a lot of work and it's hard to make. And then those who are challenging to do really hard costumes, there's ones that do really, really well. I saw a mashup of a Batman suit, but it was Joker. So as I said, Joker was dressed up as Batman. So it had the suit and the emblem, but it had like some green, like splotches of paint on it. And then there was the really, really bad Iron Man one that I showed you.
It was saran wrap with like random cardboard pieces painted.
It was cardboard. It was almost as if a 2-year-old child drew and colored this while they're waiting for their chicken nuggets.
Although
at a Denny's restaurant. That's what it
do
looks
appreciate
like.
the amount of effort. It's probably something better. Like they could probably do better than what I could ever try to do.
I suppose if you put in that much effort to make a bad costume and wear it as if you're proud of it, then I hope it's done on purpose.
Yes.
In which case, good job. Good job. I don't dress up. I don't do cosplay. I don't know if I really would. I don't even dress up for Halloween.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't dress up for Halloween.
He used to do Nick Fury that one time for Halloween.
Yeah, that was like 2012. I dressed up as Nick Fury, which really didn't have a lot of things to do for that.
But it was still surprisingly accurate because he looks like Sam Jackson. And he had an eye patch, which is basically the only thing he needs here. And then he just had like a long leather jacket and some black clothes underneath. That's
everything.
Basically all Nick Fury wore in the movies.
I already had everything. All I had to do was buy an eye patch and I was good. So that was like 25 cents at a Spirit Halloween boutique store. So that was worth it. That was the last time. I like dressing up as for characters for Halloween. I don't like doing it now, and I think it's because my job was pretty much 365 days out of the year, except for days off, of course, dressed up as a character for 10 years. So, you know, for the first 4 years of my, I guess you can say, theme park career, I was a Star Trek character. Well, 3 years actually. The 4th year I was not, but I was a Star Trek character. And I had the Vulcan ears, and I had the Starfleet uniform, and I had the badge, and I had the insignias, and I was a Klingon for a year, and so I had the Baldric, and I had the Disruptor. I had all that. And then I worked at the Disneyland Resort and was in the entertainment department, so I was a character for 5 years. So I never understood how my coworkers would still want to go and dress up for Halloween and go to parties, because I'm like, you know, I'm dressing up as a character.
I mean,
every day anyway.
Like 2 years ago, you dressed up as Batman.
Did I?
Yeah, like you were wearing your teacher clothes, and then underneath you were wearing the onesie. So you were literally Bruce Wayne, and then nobody's like, no, you're not. And then I was like,
yeah,
he's probably wearing the onesie underneath.
So this is what happened. I don't normally dress for Halloween, but as a teacher, you kind of have to
surprise the students.
You kind of have to come out and do things you wouldn't normally do for the sake of being a good sport and entertaining your students. And if that means decorating your costume or doing some fun videos or TikToks or whatever, you do it, or parties, even though I don't like parties and social gatherings and throwing stuff and, well, not throwing stuff, I throw stuff at students all the time, but like throwing parties and gatherings, you do it. And so, you know, a lot of teachers, like for the 100 days, they like to dress up as old people. I don't. For Dr. Seuss, they like to dress up as Dr. Seuss characters. Yeah, I don't. of course, this would be like kindergarten teachers and first graders and elementary. But I remember last year I decided to dress up, but I wore a suit. So I went as Bruce Wayne. And so
you had like a blue button up and just like regular dress pants.
yeah, with a tie and everything. Now
I saw a little of this peeking out and I was like, oh no.
if you know me, I never just do a simple gag. So for Halloween, I'm not simply dressed up as Bruce Wayne because you can't tell because I'm a teacher and I dressed up as a suit. So people thinking I'm not dressed up for Halloween, like, oh, Mr. Goodrum, why aren't you dressed up for Halloween? I'm like, I am. You're like, huh? I am dressed up for Halloween. They're like, well, then who are you? It's like, I'm Bruce Wayne. You're like, oh, okay. So that first year was a bust. But the second year, I made sure that they were going to ask me the question I was waiting for since the year before. So this year, or October 2019, I went as Bruce Wayne again. And people will be walking by like, Mr. Goodrum, why aren't you dressed up for Halloween? I go, I am dressed up. They're like, huh? And so they would some of them would never actually ask the question. And so I don't normally wear a suit, so some students were like, well, Mr. Goodrum, why are you wearing a suit? And I said, well, because I thought we can dress up for Halloween, so I'm dressed up. Like, oh, okay. But those are usually the high school students. So the junior high students, when I got them in my classroom, they would ask who I was, and I would say, I'm Bruce Wayne. And so I was waiting for them to ask, how does this make you Bruce Wayne? And they finally did. And so they asked, well, how are you Bruce Wayne? They said, because because Bruce Wayne is Batman. Like, okay. So I said, so I'm Bruce Wayne. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Because I'm Batman. Like, all right. I'm Batman. They said, prove it. I said, thank you. So I was wearing my suit, and all of a sudden, I take off my jacket. That got a little weird for the students. Then I started to take off my tie. They still weren't sure what I was doing. Then I started to unbutton my shirt, and I have this underneath. They're like, oh, okay, very funny. But I didn't stop there. Then I started unbuckling my pants. Now imagine you're a student in my classroom, you're 13 years old, and you see your teacher unbuckling their pants. That really started to get students both confused and concerned. So I unbuckled my pants and I pulled them down, and I'm in this pajama onesie. Okay? And then I took it off, and they were all laughing, and I showed them, it's like, but that's not it. So I showed them, I took off my shoes, obviously excited to take off my pants, and I showed them my socks. Like, oh, okay. And I went, but there's more. And they're like, huh? And I'm flourishing with my hands, and I went to my zipper, and I went, zzz, and they were like, oh my God. Now, I'm wearing a different shirt today. But this goes to show you the different layers of thinking that goes into this. So, right now I'm wearing a Justice League shirt. But at the time, I was wearing a Batman shirt, a black shirt with the symbol on it. So, I started to zip up.
It's a literal Batman shirt underneath the Batman onesie, which is underneath the suit.
And they thought I was just going to stop there, but I started taking off the onesie. And that's when they really started getting scared. But then I had Batman swimming trunks underneath. And then that was it. Oh, and then I had a Batman hat that I actually went over and grabbed it on my bag, and I put the hat on. And I just chilled.
You didn't have the mask with you?
No, I didn't have the mask because it was a Robin mask. It wasn't a Batman mask, so it didn't make any sense.
I thought you had a Batman mask.
No, don't have a Batman mask. So that was the story of the day. And unfortunately, that was a trick I could only do once because they started telling other students, go ask Mr. Goodrum what he's dressed up as, because they're going to ruin the joke. So I only did it the one time, and that was during my first period class. Thank you. So that was fun. But normally I don't dress up for Halloween. So What is the one character you would definitely want to cosplay as
Oh.
before you die? Let me guess. Is Scarlet Witch one of them?
Probably.
Probably.
It's like, I don't know.
Comic book Scarlet Witch or Marvel Universe?
Both. I'd really like to do both.
Okay.
I
So
did-
other than that, what other characters would you want to be?
I have one. I'm trying to think of ones that I'm not currently working on.
You have some wigs, right? Or those roos.
Oh, they're mine.
They're your wigs.
Yeah, she gave them to me like a few months ago.
Okay.
I don't know. There's so many to choose from. I don't know who I absolutely want to do.
I know for me, if I would dress up as anybody for Halloween, like actually dress up for Halloween, not cosplay, but actual dress up for Halloween, and I've always said this, the one costume that would get me back into Halloween was an actual Nightwing costume. I love Nightwing. Or Batman Beyond. I would definitely do Batman Beyond. Yeah. I think Batman Beyond doesn't really get enough attention. I think that was a very good cartoon.
I really want to do Killer Frost.
Ooh, which Killer Frost? From the comic book or The Flash?
I'd really like to do Caitlin Snow Killer Frost.
From The Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was probably more doable.
Yeah. Although I could also do the Injustice Killer Frost.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I have the white wig.
She has the white wig, so that would work. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just gonna need probably like the gloves that there's like gloves that cosplayer uses where it's like colored and it actually looks like, so that you don't have to use like face paint all over your hands. So you just put on the gloves and it actually looks like.
Oh, that works.
Yeah, but I am gonna need face paint for face.
Yeah, you gotta get pale and ice sparkles and things like that.
I mean, I could probably just get a sparkle perfume, put it on top of the face paint.
Mm-hmm. I have no issues with cosplay. I think cosplay looks fun. I wouldn't do it, but I think it looks fun. It's different than like, I think some people have a lot of negative opinions about cosplay. For those who don't understand what it's really all about, it's not like being a furry.
Yeah, a lot of people make fun of it because a lot of cosplayers are really animated when they make videos in the cosplay.
Yeah.
Like they go like when that's not.
And there's a lot of
happening.
anime too, and so it's sometimes, I admit sometimes it looks kind of silly,
Yeah,
but there's
well-
some really good costumes out there.
Yeah, a lot of people just assume that cosplayers are only for like anime or furries, which is like no.
I think it really goes back to the day where quote unquote nerds weren't really, wasn't really a good thing, but now being a nerd is the best thing that you could possibly be in today's society, because all the pop culture that we love these days is within that genre. So I mean, I don't like the term nerd because I think we're all nerds in different ways. You could be a nerd about football. You could be a fanatic about football. You could be a fanatic about comic books and superhero movies, but they'll call you a nerd instead. But I think it's just another way of saying that you're passionate and devoted towards a very specific subset of pop culture that really influences you and inspires you to do certain things. People go to sports games and they put makeup of their, the team colors, and they go bare chested and put numbers on their shirts and they wear the jerseys. This is really kind of, in a way, the same thing. And I remember my first comic book convention, well, not my first comic book convention, but my first Star Trek convention during the days where I was working as a Star Trek character. It was in San Francisco. Obviously, everyone's dressed up because it's a comic book / Star Trek convention. I remember George Takei was there. That was awesome. Nana Visitor was there from Deep Space Nine, and Terry Farrell, who played Dax. And I wasn't really impressed with any of the costumes, because Star Trek is pretty easy to kind of emulate, because everyone really goes as either a Starfleet officer or a Klingon, or sometimes Borg. but I saw this really intricate trill. This woman was a trill Starfleet officer, and I thought that was really impressive because it's really like cheetah spots just along the sides, but those I would say probably take painstaking time to get accurate and right. And of course, it helped that she was pretty. Awkward. But I think, have you ever seen Galaxy Quest? You remember Galaxy Quest? I think that is the very fair representation of both cosplay and comic book finance. I think that's a fun movie. I like that.
Yeah, I don't really remember it all that much, but I have seen it a couple times.
Yeah.
Probably more than a couple times, but.
Yeah. So that just kind of reminds me of that. But that's enjoyable. I think under the right circumstances, I think I would probably cosplay. But I've had some really good memories just being a Starfleet officer hired by Paramount for theme parks and things. I went to, you probably don't know this, but I went to a LA County fair in Pomona when Star Trek Insurrection was coming out. And there was an exhibit of Star Trek costumes and props, and the Enterprise bridge, a replica of the Enterprise bridge. Well, at least the captain's chair was there, and I was able to sit in that. That was fun. I got pictures of that.
I just realized that I would also really love to cosplay as Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
That's why earlier I was all like.
There's really not that many Star Wars characters, even though it's Star Wars, where this... I'm sorry. Can I not, touch you?
Keep talking.
Okay. There's a lot of Star Wars characters, secondary Star Wars characters that are very popular, but they usually don't, stand the test of time in terms of you'll see them again and again and again. And they don't usually come back around. And so Ahsoka Tano has become, I mispronounced it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano is one of those characters that keeps just coming back. She's just become a fan favorite that she just keeps coming back, and they keep improving her character. And so it's quite possible, I think everyone's heard it by now, that character will be in the second season of The Mandalorian. So whether or not that's completely true, I've heard it was confirmed. I think it's been confirmed, and I think the actress has been confirmed to play that character. But I guess we'll actually really see it when it comes out, and I'm really excited about that. So there's really, Star Wars is just a great world in which you can pull characters from. Of course, tons of people dress up as Star Wars characters. Their favorite characters, and even secondary characters, and even characters that are in the background.
Also some that are AU, I have seen people dress up as Dark Rey. It's if she stayed dark, and I was like...
Yeah.
Assuming that she ever went dark.
People will even dress up that were in the now scrubbed, expanded universe before The Force Awakens come out. Because a fan favorite is Mara Jade, who ends up being the wife of Luke Skywalker. Now she doesn't exist because of the new movies. And Luke and Mara had a number of children. And what I mean by a number, I mean 3.
Oh. I was like, 2.
No, not 3. 1. Sorry, I got confused with Han and Leia. Han and Leia had 2.
Okay. I was like, I thought somebody had 2, but...
Yeah, Han and Leia had 2, the Jedi twins.
Yeah.
And they become powerful. And
didn't Luke, wasn't he supposed to have the son named Ben?
Luke and Mara had a son named Ben Skywalker. So, I'm not sure why they decided to change things the way they did. I'm kind of glad they did, because it made the stories more original. Otherwise, they would have to be forced to tell the stories that are in the books. And the books were, at the time, canon to the trilogy. So, I guess we have 2 alternate universes, kind of like Star Trek has 2 alternate universes. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to say, but that's fun too. So there's a lot of cosplay on Mara J. I'm not sure if there's been in recent years, but I tell you what, I'll find one. I'll find one in recent years, and I'll put it right here. No, here. Here.
No, you don't want to cover up the Batman.
I'll put it in both places. I'll put one here, and then I'll move it to here for you to view. If I was able to find one, if I'm not able to find one, then this whole exchange just looks really silly and dumb. So, other than that, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Well, that's all we have time for today on the Tig and Roo Show with special guest Midge. Thank you for coming out and joining us, even though you live here. I appreciate it. Tell your friends, like and subscribe to our show. We also have a podcast on anchor.fm. We also have on Spotify, Google Play, Apple,
I need to stop hitting
and all kinds of other, wherever you can find a podcast, we are there. Please tell your friends to like and subscribe. We have a Facebook page. If there's any questions you have about our show or
don't ask me, because I don't know.
Or about me or Roo, send them our way either through Facebook, or we actually do have an email, tig.roo@outlook.com. We look forward to hearing from you, answering questions, get to know you a little better. And she's going to spin around and probably throw up, and we'll see you on the flip side. Yay!
Literally.
Well, it's really not literally, because you're not really flipping, you're just twirling.
Okay, well, we have like only a few seconds left before that actually gets
No,
to 30 on the
okay, well, no one's paying attention to that.
Yeah, they probably are. They probably are already exited out of the video.
Well, no, because the music...
If they're just watching till the end, then...
Well, because music is playing and the credits are rolling. And now we're probably going to fade out right about now.
The chair moved.